Welcome to episode 13 of the Comedy Defect podcast. Now, this is a very special episode. I think President Obonjo started comedy a little bit before me, but he's a very powerful character act. If you haven't seen him before, it is certainly a show. Just the different spectrum to Fred Ferenzi's episode. He is very political, very powerful, and just a great, solid performer. I've seen him many times. I did a show with him, with myself, Christopher Norton Walker, Fred Ferenzi, and Sonia Asti. We all did a show called President Obonjo and Friends, which we toured around the country, and we had some great reviews. It was really good fun doing it. Mr. Obonjo, or Benjamin Bello, as is his real name, he talks about the problems with trying to balance the two characters. Also, the issue with Brexit and how people are treating him and the character on stage. I really enjoyed doing this episode because I know Obonjo for so long now. It was no problem talking to him. This guy has got no problem in talking on his own anyway. This is a great episode. I think you're really going to love it. If you want to follow the podcast, we're on Twitter at The Comedy Defect. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at WinterPhonander. If you want to come see my live stand-up, my gig dates are on the website, which is winterphonander.com. You're really going to enjoy this interview with Benjamin Bello, aka Mr. President Obonjo. President Obonjo feels he has a message, and all the stuff that's happening politically at the moment is giving him fuel. We talk about how the comedy industry has shaped him, how it's changed him as a person, a character, and personal life as well. You're going to love this episode. This is Mr. President Obonjo. Welcome to the Comedy Defect, Mr. President Obonjo.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Winter, let me start by saying I am really happy to be invited into an English home. You have a lovely home, but you never told me that you had a dog. And so when I saw that black dog, I just thought, oh my God, because nobody knows this. I've never said this in the circuit. Then when I was very, very young, at the age of 8, back in Nigeria, a dog chased me, honestly, and I have a phobia for dogs. So when I saw your dog when we came in, I was, are we okay?
He's okay. He's out there.
I lose all my presidential powers when I see a dog.
It's like your kryptonite.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, yes.
And so what kind of dog was it?
All I know is that your dog is black.
He is.
The one that tried to attack me.
Yes.
I don't know. It's really interesting because in Nigeria, certainly I was very, very young, but I can't remember my father thinking whether he wanted an Alsatian or whether he wanted a Labrador. It's only when I arrived in England that I knew that dogs had different types of dogs. I just thought the dog was a dog, man. But we didn't have police. We called it what we call Alsatian dogs were called police dogs in Nigeria. We didn't have. The Alsatian dogs were more for the police, Nigerian police. So unless you were extremely rich, would you have an Alsatian dog? So my dog was, I don't know what to call the dog, but it's not.
That's the one that chased you. To be fair to you, there's only two types of dog: the friendly dog and the angry dog that's chasing you.
I'm telling you, all dogs are angry. It's something that I try to deal with, but it's like when I did the New Act of the Year finals in 2016, and I was doing the auditions. The guy who actually runs the New Act of the Year, he has a dog, and his dog is very, very small. So, and the dog comes on stage, and I'm playing around with the ball. And,
Is that Britain's Got Talent?
It felt like Britain's Got Talent, but he's known for bringing his dog on stage. But it's all part of the tradition. Okay. And it's just that the comedians are not competing with the dog. The dog has its own stage time. And when I saw that dog, I just thought, this dog doesn't attack me.
Doesn't that sap the energy out of the room, though, with a dog on stage?
No, people love it. People expect it, honestly. But it's not like the dog is on stage doing any performance. It's just, if I try and remember now, I think it was obviously before the show started. So it's the audition. Right. But the dog doesn't come on. I can't remember if the dog was there at the finals. I can't really remember. But
the dog's not one of the judges, is it?
No, the dog will not judge.
It doesn't have anything to
do
with deciding.
No, this is not Britain's Got Talent. But with the way politics is going, who knows? Maybe animals will soon take over the United Kingdom.
More sense, yeah. Four legs good, 2 legs bad.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Did you hear about the coup in Turkey?
No.
Oh,
no.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm deadly serious. I haven't heard anything.
There was an aborted coup.
No, I didn't hear about this.
But what was really interesting was I was on stage. This is so funny because I was on stage performing I heard, and I don't know how I heard, but I just heard that there was a coup in Turkey, and I just thought, oh my God, someone is trying to get rid of me while I'm performing, but it was actually Turkey. It's really interesting because it just reminded me of the Labour Party. You know, what is it that the Labour Party and the Turkey military government have in common? They can't plan a coup.
Oh yeah.
And you know, if you have a military government or military team and they can't even plan a coup, how can they defend their country?
That's true. That's true.
So you missed that though.
I missed it. Yeah, but there was a bit of a thing that happened with you in Hastings as well recently, wasn't there, Mr. President?
Well, it's the aftermath of Brexit, isn't it?
Yeah, after Brexit, that's it.
And it's really interesting, my friend.
Getting more gigs or less gigs?
No, I don't think Brexit has affected whether I get more gigs or whether I don't get any gigs. But I think even before Brexit, obviously there were issues in terms of when you go to areas where you don't have predominantly black people and majority are white. There's always not necessarily tension, but you could always tell whether you're going to die or not, especially the UKIP.
If anything, it's made you stronger, though, isn't it?
Oh, it actually it's. I never even think about it. I just go in there. My view is, you know, black, white, Chinese. Most important thing is that you have bomb on seats and they enjoy my comedy. So I couldn't care less what color. However, Hastings was shocking. And I arrived in Hastings and it was a day after the vote and the results were out. But I didn't have time to look at the votes in Hastings. So I met this young woman at the station. And I basically said to her, trying to find out how Hastings voted. And she said it was Leave. So, you know, as soon as she said leave, I just thought, oh dear, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I'm at the seafront.
Yeah.
This is going to be really, really interesting. So I was walking past and she basically said, she was very upset. As we know, the younger people voted to remain and the older generation voted leave. So I walked to my venue, and as I was walking to my venue, I noticed a few things. One obviously was the social deprivation in the town and the fact that it just lacked investment. Whilst I can understand why some people voted leave because of the emotions, I think underneath the immigration thing, people were just a bit fed up. It was a protest vote against Cameron and his government. So there's this new thing I do, because I'm always constantly changing my show. So I did the rise of the comedy. No, actually, it was President Obonjo stole my identity. But I tried some of the rise of the comedy dictator in the show. And what I do is I've got this. I behave like a real president, like Obama, and I have topics that I give audience members, and they act as my press people. So there was a topic on immigration, Orlando shooting, Europe, Boris Johnson, Brexit. So I gave the slip to this woman who obviously was white. And she raised her hand and said, Mr. President. I said, yes, how can I help you? Well, my name is blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, I've got a question on immigration. I said, okay, what's the question? She said, why are you lot always fucking taking our jobs?
Wow.
Now, there were over 60 people in a lovely room. Lovely room. I couldn't ask for more. And the whole room just went dead.
And that was the first thing that happened at your gig. As soon as you walked on stage, that was the first question from your press.
Yeah, that was the first question.
Wow.
And I just said,
wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
That's a good start. That's a good start, though. That created an awful lot of tension.
Yeah.
It's like you're certain. Yeah, I just say, what happened then?
There was a lot of tension after she asked the question, and it was obvious that people wanted to try and find out. So people were just. They were worried. They didn't know how I was going to react. And I have to be entirely honest with you. I had no backup plan. You know, this was just stuff I was doing as part of improv, you know, for the new show. Because I know I'm very good at improv. So I said, and it was like you could hear a pin drop. And I said to the audience member, I said, did you just go there? Did you really mean to ask me that question? She said, yes, I went there. I said, okay. I said, by the way, what job do you do? She said she's a foot massage therapist. I burst out laughing, but burst out in my mind to say, oh my God, you've just given me such a fucking good material.
Ammunition.
So I basically said, okay, fine. I don't know. What does a foot massage therapist, what do you do? says they massage foot. And she was quite pleased and very, very happy. Proud. This is my job. I'm a foot massage therapist.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, people have to do what they need to do to survive in England. Yeah. So I then basically said to her, I said, look at me. Look at the way I am dressed. And the way I speak. Do you honestly think I've come all the way from Africa to take your job as a foot massage therapist?
Yeah.
Everybody started laughing. Then I gave her the killer by basically saying, are you aware that David Cameron has resigned? Yeah. And what that means is that number 10 Downing Street is vacant. Now, that is the fucking job I want.
Yeah.
Straight up. But what's really interesting is, I think, my view is that we should use, depending on what comedians want to do and how they see their career, we should use our comedy to make people think. I love the idea of thinking and laughing, because I think I left her and the room with a statement that, you can't just ask stupid questions. I thought she was going to ask me a question about, do you think we need border controls? Something intelligent. And it was more about thinking. And it was comedy, it was okay.
She just wanted to knock you off.
Yeah, exactly.
But the first thing as well, you think, okay, fine, look, if it wasn't going well and they see an opening and they're really not enjoying it for whatever reason, you expect to heckle, but straight away.
Yeah, straight away.
I mean, she must have been a little bit drunk, was she, do you think?
No, she wasn't drunk. I think she thought she was just having fun. Yeah. I thought what was really interesting and the response from the other comedians, because they felt bad for me that someone who could have asked such a question, and it was shocking for them. It was really, really shocking. But I didn't make a big deal of it because I didn't see there was a big deal, but I finally found out that the word had gone around that this is what happened to Obonjo. But, look, it makes us stronger.
You brushed it off.
Brushed it off and just go with it. And it's material. It's giving me material for my next, and I used it last night, and people laughed. So,
to be honest, it gave you a massive in, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
She went at you, and you went straight back at her.
Yeah, exactly.
Went, okay, this guy's got this.
Yeah, it's got it. Yeah.
This guy's safe.
That if I had given the wrong response,
exactly,
I think the show wouldn't have.
You showed no fear.
I just carried it, and I just
because you were the dictator.
Yeah,
you were the president of Obonjo.
Yeah. And in normal circumstances, that woman would have disappeared by now. Nobody would know where she is.
That's true.
Back home. Yeah. But those are the challenges. Those are the challenges that we face as comedians, and
That's really interesting, though. I mean, as you find that the stand-up community is so supportive.
Yeah.
It's very lefty anyway, mostly.
Yeah.
And then going down to Hastings, I wonder if that's going to affect the festival because of because of everyone's going down there to do their previews for their show for Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, how is this cerebral stuff going to go over here? And I know you don't want to tar everyone with the same brush, especially with that one individual.
Yeah.
But it's like...
I think it's just a minority, but I didn't get the impression, because actually I didn't get the impression that and I think some of this is to do with ignorance and the things that people read in the press, and so we just have to use the opportunity that we've got on stage. I see us as politicians. When I say politicians, because they've got stage time. They when I say stage time, they interact with people, the constituents and the communities that they represent, and we're doing the same. We're just not and we're not representing. I don't represent the people in St Albans, but if I have to perform, I perform to St Albans constituents. So I take my job seriously as a comedian. That is an opportunity to pass on some messages in a funny way that makes them think, and also gets them to enjoy and laugh. And you were talking about Edinburgh previews. I'm not going this year. I went last year. I think people are actually missing a trick. But what do I know? I'm not a comedian. I'm a president. Seriously, because I think a lot of people do previews, but they do previews to audiences that are not necessarily going to be in Edinburgh. That's what I strongly feel. I think when I went last year, the people I played to were not Londoners. Some of them were from Scotland, from outside Scotland. Some of them were foreigners. Do you know what I'm saying? So you might have a prepared show and a prepared preview, but it could possibly die on its ass because you're not connecting with the audience. So have a backup plan, in terms of audience interaction.
Yeah, great.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Improv it.
A little bit. Yeah, you're going to have a written show and you want your show to work, boom. But if it's not working after a couple of days, it's because the people are the wrong audiences. You've played to people in London. Yeah, and you've got to have local references. You know, there's no point talking about stuff in London that doesn't affect them in Edinburgh. You know what I'm saying? It's just common sense. Either you have a backup plan in terms of your prepared show, or you have 2 shows written, and you play around with them because, you know, depending on where you are in terms of your comedy career. That's certainly what I did at in Edinburgh last year. It was called President Obonjo Stole My Identity. And the first 2 days, even though I had written the show, I had to tweak it because the audience were different. Yeah, and they were different. But it just showed how flexible that show was.
Flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility is the key, and not being too structured. Just relax and enjoy yourself, have fun, and yeah, if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. Don't kill yourself unnecessarily. That's
force it.
Yeah. Don't. You know that song. Don't force it. Don't force it. Let it happen naturally. And that's what needs to happen. So, I wish people going to Edinburgh. I'm not quite saddened by the fact that I'm not going, and I need to share this with you because what's happened. Since I went to Edinburgh, is a lot of people have kept in touch with me, and this is someone who hasn't been signed by an agent, not represented by anyone. I'm just doing my stuff and believing in my own shit. One of the challenges that we face when we go to Edinburgh is that we're always trying to find audiences to come to our shows. And I'm not joking. At least 5 people have written to me this year. People who saw me last year, wanting to know whether I'm coming this year.
Great. That's it.
I've got a following already.
We were talking about this before as well. We were saying that, you know, you go so long doing this. Because when I first met you on the circuit, you were doing Ben. And Ben was funny. And then you moved to Mr. President, and Mr. President wasn't quite as grand as with all the medals as he was at the start, but he was still good. People were liking it straight away. But because you were not pandering to the same old things, you were just kind of doing your own thing. It's like, and it's okay if they don't get it, and they don't like it. That's fine. I'd rather them hate it than think it's average. I'd rather have them like it or hate it, no in between, rather than just have that kind of, oh yeah, it was just, you was talking about the same thing again. Because you want to be different. You want to you're doing it for you as well.
Exactly.
And they want to see you enjoying it. Because you will find that if you find all the joy in it, then they're going to come along with it because everyone wants a piece of what you're experiencing. They're buying into an experience rather than just the same old trope about maybe like Pokemon that's going to be coming out again now and Tinder with Pokemon. Which is really ridiculous. It's like, come on, guys.
Pokemon Go. I think for me, this, and someone was asking me yesterday, and this is what's really interesting. I think people make a lot of mistakes when it comes to your comedy journey. There are comedy promoters out there, when they see you for the first time and you die on your ass, they just write you off straight away. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I think that is just totally wrong because my view is that this is a craft and it takes a while for it to develop, for you to find your own voice. And never ever compare yourself to other comedians. You know, some of us, it takes about 4 or 5 years. Some people it takes 2 years and they're there. Some people it takes 3 years. But the key thing is, so far you're really you believe in what you are doing, things get better. And the reason I say this was last night I did the Hat Factory. And
it's like the Soho Comedy Club laid out, isn't it? It's such a nice room.
Nice room, nice venue, nice MC, Jake. Pickford, I didn't call him Dickford, but Pickford. He did pretty well. But I think for me, I've got to a stage now where I still enjoy it, but I'm now enjoying it more. You know what I'm saying? And I think when audience members see you enjoying and having fun on stage, they go with you. There's no two ways about it. They can see that this guy is having fun on stage, and they want to join in. And that's what happened yesterday. There was a comedian who saw me many, many years ago, hadn't seen me. And he wrote to me yesterday. And I have to tell you, in this industry, it can be quite a lonely existence, and especially if you haven't got an agent or any marketing person. So I thrive on comments that I receive from people. And he wrote and said, wow, what I saw yesterday was a revelation. You were awesome. And I know he wasn't kidding. You're an inspiration. And I just thought, wow. This was a guy who saw me 4 years ago die on my fucking ass. And I died.
Oh, fury. You top that up. Top that shit up, isn't it?
I died. But it was a journey. And that's what most people don't seem to understand. it's a journey. You will die, you will get up, you will die, you will get up. What's not happening for me, and that's why I'm changing constantly, because I'm constantly challenging myself, is I can't remember when last I died on stage. It's taken a while now. Everyone says, and you know we can be quite deluded as comedians, talk less as a dictator. But I'm just storming and storming and storming and storming. And that's not boasting. That's because I've been able to perfect it. However, if I'm really serious about my career in comedy, I need to keep challenging myself to say what's the next thing I need to do, because it seems that I'm very comfortable with the show or with the set, and that's why I've introduced certain things to
make you afraid.
To make me afraid again, because we need that fear in us. We need to be afraid to die. Do you understand?
Or the excitement, or maybe not fear now at this stage, but it's the excitement or the anxiety.
And that's why what I do. It's interesting. You remember that I started as Benjamin in my comedy career, and it's really interesting because some people actually say that. They've never ever seen me do Ben, and they think that I will die on my ass when it comes to Ben, that I'm not funny as Ben, and that I'm hiding behind this character to be funny. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more. As you can see, you've seen me do the show where I actually break out of character and I reveal Benjamin. Now that bit I did yesterday in the 20-minute set, and someone wrote to me today and said that was a really intelligent, funny comedy, and I loved when you came out of character. Now, when I started coming out of character, that's why you should not believe what people say to you. Yes, you've got to listen to advice, but you don't have to necessarily take it. Do your own thing. People were saying to me, don't break out of character, Obonjo. Don't break out of character. And I knew I had to break out of character because I got bored of doing it because it became predictable. He's a powerful dictator. Yeah, he's going to kill us. Blah, 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 blah. You know, you could easily write, people understand where I'm going with it. But the twist was to actually reveal who was behind this character. And wow, it was just, that's what got me the 5 stars. In Edinburgh. And what I do at club sets, and when I started doing it, people said, oh, don't do it, you can't do it, you can't do the club sets, so they won't let you do it, oh, you're going to kill this. I fucking did it. Bloody did it, because the audience were not expecting what was going to be revealed.
You're flipping it.
Yeah, I flipped it around. And that's what comedy is about. Yeah.
And at the beginning it's an act with what you're doing, but now, as you get better at knowing who you are and your voice on stage, it becomes more of an experience rather than an act. And that's why when you see someone who's really got themselves nailed down, or they know who they are on stage, you don't really, the jokes don't really matter anymore because they know who they are on stage. And it's like, it's more of a whole experience. If they're a really good comic and you listen to what the feedback they've gotten.
When I started doing the Obonjo bit, you're absolutely right, we did.
But not just feedback, not just from yourself, but from not just from other people, but from you, what you think is right. And because you think to yourself, oh, that audience sometimes they may have been right, but this time I am right. I'm going to go with this now.
Yeah, well, you remember when we did when you were running your nights, we did some tough pop gigs.
That was one of the toughest gigs.
And things were getting better then. But I realised that I was too nice as a dictator, and that I needed to be angry. You know what I'm saying? Dictators are angry. You know, you have to be afraid of who's speaking on stage. You know, frightfully funny. That's when I knew I cracked it. When I started getting angry on stage, that's when I knew, and I knew, yes, I am on to a winner on that. And even yesterday, someone came to me and basically said, "Oh, Obonjo, I've got this comedy tutor who was basically saying," and this is what's really interesting, because you talk about how earlier on you were talking about the comedy and the support, and I don't doubt the fact that there is support, but at times I feel alone even at lineups, because I'm always the only character comedian. And especially when you don't, and I get the impression, I am absolutely right about this, and this was confirmed to me last night, that a lot of people frown on character comedians. And there was this woman who came to me yesterday and said, "Oh, Obonjo, guess what? I was talking to my comedy tutor, who basically said she hates character comedians, really dislikes what they do, but there is someone who's got it absolutely right. Look out for him, is Obonjo." And I said, "Oh, I know Obonjo." So, these things inspire me more to do what I need to do. And I've never been the sort of act who listen to critics, to be honest with you. I just do what I need to do. You know, I've been criticized, for example, for wearing a lance corporal as a president. However, what's really interesting is what happens in Africa and what happened in Turkey is that it's the junior ranking officers that lead a coup. It's never the senior ones. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my act is based on the fact that I'm a junior officer. He wants to become president, okay? And then he gets rid of all the senior officers and he's waiting to promote himself. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm wearing this, and I'm still wearing the lance corporal because I'm getting there in terms of success. But the next stage is if I get onto TV, for example. Oh fuck me! This uniform is going to change.
It's going to be heavy.
It's going to be fucking heavy.
It's going to be heavy. You're going to get yourself a tank. You're going to take out a mortgage.
It's going to be a tank. You know, a presidential car, President Obonjo, lots of medals. You know how they do it. You're going to say,
You're going to have the epaulet. As I say, you got to earn those stripes.
Yeah, you have to. And that's exactly. Actually, I might steal that off you.
That's it.
Because two people have made that comment, and that was when I was at the comedy store doing the gong, and I bit the gong when these comments were made, and the MC basically said, "Oh, he's a fucking president, but he's wearing a lance corporal outfit," and I just said, MCs need to say what they need to say to make the audience laugh. Yeah. But actually, people need to understand that I'm a junior ranking officer in Laughter Republic, so I've taken over, and I'm just waiting for more success in the comedy journey, and then I will promote myself to general.
You go from a 1-star to a 2-star.
Well, it takes time. Yeah, and that's just a reflection. That's
humble.
That's how hard I worked. I used to. I went on with just one medal. Now I've got 3 medals. I've been successful in certain competitions, getting to the finals.
Damn right.
So that's the way. I have to
be proud.
I have to praise myself and give myself medals.
No one else is going to do it for you.
Exactly.
No one else in this comedy industry, they're like, oh yeah, well done, and then they might not even mean it sometimes.
Yeah, it's been an interesting and painful, but lovely journey. But it's really interesting how I was even talking on stage. I talked to you about this one. I think you might find this quite interesting. There are 2 things that have happened recently that I hope we can address. One is about comedy and depression. About a few months ago, someone wrote to me, a comedian, and basically said that, Obonjo, I've seen you on stage several times, and I'd like you to come to a TV documentary where you can come and talk about depression, because I think you're suffering from depression when you break out of character. I was fucking upset. I was basically just upset that this guy thinks that I created this character because I am significantly
having a mental breakdown.
I'm making a breakdown.
Whoa.
Yeah. And actually what's really interesting is when the show was reviewed, where I got the 5 stars, they basically said that this is someone who's having some kind of mental health breakdown, or it has to be an act. But I was happy, to be honest with you, I was happy with the 5-star review and the way basically because it helped me in terms of actually developing the character for that. But it was more it was more about this comedian who thought that I was suffering from depression because I was breaking out of character.
Sure.
So I was upset. So for about a day, I didn't want to respond to him. So I responded to him and I said, "Look, I don't deny the fact that there are people who suffer. I know that there are people who suffer from depression, but I have to tell you, I don't suffer from depression, and I don't take it lightly. I'm happy. My comedy comes from a happy place. That's key. And I hope that people who suffer from depression get all the help that they need." And then I left it as that. I said, "Thank you, but I won't be doing the TV documentary." So there were a few people, I can't even remember if I wrote to you, but there were a few people I communicate with on a regular basis that I call my comedy buddies, and I wrote to a few of them and basically said, "Guys, I just want to find out whether you guys suffer from depression or whether you have depression." Now, I wrote to about 10 people, and they're all comedians, and they all confirmed to me that they had depression.
Wow.
When that happened, I just thought, oh my God. So I've been doing comedy for 4 years. I didn't even know I was fucking depressed. Now, the story behind this is this. What I did gave me material to talk about it on stage. So I did that on Thursday. And there's a new material night that I do where I just talk as myself, as Benjamin. I don't do the uniform. I just like to just be free and just be me and just talk for 45 minutes and just express myself. And I was talking about comedy and depression on stage. This woman heckles me and basically says, Mr. President, you are depressed. So I'm wondering, hello, where does this come from?
It's Ben as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but because I spoke about President Obonjo as well.
Oh, okay.
So I said, no, he said, oh, Mr. President, you're depressed. So I thought it was a great heckle, and I just thought, wow, how do you respond? This has got really serious. So once again, I just reflected and I said, okay, fine. You say I'm depressed because you've heard me talk about things about my life, and some of them have been funny. I told you it was a new material night, so not everything is going to work tonight, but you've been laughing. What do you do? She said she's a psychotherapist. I said, you're a psychotherapist? She said she's a psychotherapist, and then said, oh, but I'm drunk.
Okay. It's diagnosing you drunk. Oh my God.
So someone who's drunk is telling me I'm depressed. So I didn't know, I just left it as that, and everybody was just laughing. I just left it as that. But what I did was every time I cracked a joke and it worked, I just said, I am not depressed.
And they're like, denial.
But I think the important thing for me is this. And I'm not criticizing comedians.
You haven't given any names.
Yeah, but I'm not, actually. I know that some people suffer from depression. But I think some people use it as a bandwagon to go on stage and say, oh, I'm depressed, when they're not really depressed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I think that's so wrong, because it shouldn't be taken lightly, because people actually suffer from that. So that's the first thing. And also the fact that audience members, earlier on we were talking about how audience members judge us. Audience members, because there was this stuff that was written when Robbie Williams died. Yeah. And everybody posted stuff about, all comedians are depressed. They're depressed people. I think that's so wrong to tag people and say comedians are depressed. You're just saying that's my view. Because not everybody, it's not every human being.
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a hard job, of course. But and there's massive peaks and troughs with comedy. But you shouldn't really blanket. It's dangerous, I think. It's like we're massively generalizing, and then everyone's going, well. And then people start thinking, am I depressed?
Yeah, exactly. And before you know what's happening, you start thinking yourself. Yeah. The other one I wanted to address that you might have heard of is there was research that was done recently about comedians dying young. That's the latest one that's come out that everybody's been posting. I'm going to die young because I'm a comedian. It actually says that if you're a funny comedian, the funniest comedians die young. Now, I read the article and I said, hello. I'm actually quite pleased that I started comedy in midlife. So I'm likely to die old.
I'm going to win. I'm the oldest comedian.
Hello, please. Come on, get real. Really? But where are these people from? They just do all these researches. One minute they're telling us, we shouldn't drink red wine because it's not good for us. Next minute they're telling these people are paid to put stuff there, and people are just so. All I would say is that comedians are very vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as they see stuff like that, I saw people posting, I might die soon. Oh, thank God I'm not funny. But I don't know. I've come into the industry very naive.
Well, I think that like the evolution of social media and the sheer power that it has now is deciding what we think all of the time. And like you see all these vote for this. You know, they've got three choices: A, B, or C on everything, and then this has become the truth rather than the actual truth, which is a reality.
And I think, and I'm sure you will agree with me on this, either comedy or non-comedy. And this is my greatest challenge. My greatest challenge is I want to think for myself. I don't want to repeat the opinions of government or of other people, especially if it affects my life. That is my greatest challenge. And when I hear people post stuff about what other people have said or blah, 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 it's frankly a nonsense, because I need you to think. I'm attracted to people who think for themselves. Does that make sense? It's your own opinion. It's not that, you've picked up what Owen Jones has said and you've posted it. That's Owen Jones's view of the world. What is your own fucking view? How do you feel about it? What is your opinion? And that's what comedy should be about. Comedy should be about, it's personal to you. And if you're lucky and people get it, then they get it. But don't go and copy what other people are saying on stage. Be yourself. Do your thing, because we're all individuals, different individuals with different views about life. And that's why when I look at my comedy, I try to make it not so topical because it's so predictable that everybody's going to talk about, for example, what's the latest today? Everybody is doing a gag about coups, talking and all that stuff. Hello, I've been doing gags about coups for the past couple of years. Edgy.
Hey, but at least they're current now.
Yeah, well, at least they're current now. But you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Yeah, I think you need to. I think my view is that comedy is natural. It's something that you should tap into, and you know, it requires some thinking time and just trying to be different and unique. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think comedy is about, rather than you have to do comedy in this certain way, or you go to a comedy school and they teach you how to do comedy and it's not personal and it's so rehearsed that the audience can't even interact with you. They know that it's been rehearsed, and when anybody heckles you, you're fucked up in the process. My comedy is about audience interaction. It's about improv. It's about my set. It's about me. It's about the people in the audience. Yesterday, oh jeez, I wish you were there, Winter. There's a photograph I posted on Facebook. This woman didn't know what was happening. I'm sure when she left her house, she didn't realize that she was going to be called on stage and that she was going to be the new wife of Mrs. Obonjo. The smile on her face, the joy. Because I actually feel that, you know, they've got this view that, you know, with when you go on stage, treat every comedy
Every room, is it, or
as if it's your last gig. Just do everything that you need to do.
Leave it all on.
Yeah. You never know who's in the room. And my view is, as president, that I'm actually recruiting ambassadors. I see my audience members as ambassadors. They're the ones who will lead the comedy revolution. They're the ones who will say, President Obonjo is funny. Why is he not on TV? This is the brand of comedy that we need to see. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? It's my opportunity to sell my message to them, because I don't even know when I'm going to see them again. You know what I'm saying? And because they won't see me, it's going to take a while. They might not see me on TV, but they see me and they remember that night, and they're wondering, wow. Does that make sense?
I know. What we're saying is, like, you're saying you came to comedy naive. We all are naive when we first started doing comedy as well.
Oh,
and you realise that, you know, your success is difficult, is slow. Progress is slow, but you've got to try and stay positive with it. And with the going through the journey of yourself, I mean, do you feel that President Obonjo has changed Ben?
Oh my God. I honestly believe that, you know, the Olimos, what's his name? The Olimos, the singer, said a few months ago, I can't remember whether 6 months ago, said he was 20% gay. When I look at myself in terms of my comedy, I and President Obonjo and Benjamin, I'm 99% a comedian and 1% a human being.
I thought I was going to be a bigger revelation there. I was like,
you thought I was going to say I'm gay.
I was like, and 1%. You're 99% comedian and 1% Ben.
No, but 99% comedian and 1%. 1% human being.
You got to choose your words very carefully now.
1% human being. The point I'm trying to make is this. As you know, I work during the day. Of course, so I've got to take my job very seriously. There was a period in my life when I was unemployed for about 9 months, and during those 9 months, things really picked up for me in terms of my comedy. I was able to gig across the country and all that stuff, and all I could think of was Obonjo and no one else. Has Obonjo changed Ben? Oh, fucking yes. On the basis that Ben is a very reserved, shy person. Most people don't believe this. But Obonjo brought out the confidence in Ben. There's no two ways about it, because Obonjo is very powerful on stage, confident, proud, deluded, you know. Ben is quiet, timid, he doesn't want trouble, you know what I'm saying? And so
Ben is the id, and President Obonjo is the ego.
Yeah, he's the ego, yeah. So that, it's definitely changed me, but I've been able to deal with it in such a way whereby Obonjo is not revealed at work. Yeah, I think like every other comedian, I think my life has changed in the last couple of years. and I realized that it changed when I went to a social gathering. I hardly go to parties or go to clubs anymore because my weekends are taken. So this is this is a unique one for me where I haven't got a gig and I just need to relax. And I met some school friends. We went to school together in Nigeria. We have an old boys association, it's a secondary school. And we decided we were going to go for a drink. And I arrived there, there were 20 of us. We haven't seen each other, some I haven't seen for 30 years because we left secondary school many, many years ago. So we decided it was a reunion. And we met in this Nigerian restaurant. And we got talking. And I could connect with them, but I couldn't connect with them fully because I changed so much. And I just saw them very unfunny. And I'm over 50. And what they were talking about was about, preparing for death and how we've got to be careful now we're getting old and all that stuff. I didn't want to probably hear that. Just I didn't want to hear that. When I surround myself with, and actually when I'm working with comedians, I'm always working with comedians who are younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm like 20, 25 years older than these guys, but I can connect with them at a level. So I think that psychologically has also changed me because I feel I'm young. Yeah. Does that make sense? I'm saying? So I then walk into this place full of over 50-year-old guys who are 50, 51. Some of them have lost their hair. Some of them because they, because this is the thing, comedy is my passion. So I think it's made me feel much, much younger compared to my non-comedy friends because their life is just too serious. You know what I'm saying? Just really, really serious. But it was a good night. We were able to have a chat. But then they would want to invite me to maybe their daughter's wedding or if someone is having a party. I haven't got the time. So I miss that. That wanting to just sit down and not think about comedy. And at times I think, am I getting so obsessed about comedy that I can't even give it a break? And that's why one of the great tests this year is I'm not going to Edinburgh. Edinburgh, whatever they want to do in Edinburgh, they can do in Edinburgh. I'm going on a holiday. And I'm going on holiday with the family. We're going to the States. Oh, nice. Yeah, and it's I'm going to get my gun with me. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. You can get your license. I have my license. Yeah. But seriously, I am so looking forward to having a break. And it's not a break from comedy. It's just actually just behaving like a proper human being. Of course. And not worry about what jokes to write today. I saw that person. I have to write that down. Constantly thinking. I just want to take some time out and behave like a proper human being, and then come back re-energized. Not worry about whether I've got gigs or not because my reputation is there and I get gigs, and I just do my shows and that's it. So I'm really looking forward to that because what's really interesting is I found this so therapeutic and cathartic. Yeah. Because you and I, every time we meet, it's always, how was the gig? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, can you come to my gig? Oh, no, you can't come. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, did you see my set? No, I was in the toilet. Did I? Yeah, as we said before. We could change it, as we said before. Yeah. We never really have that connection. To that social connection. That's why you feel alone. I mean, you can get quite lonely. You'll kill your family as well, but you want friends outside that as well. I just feel that. What the comedy does is that it puts you into this little world and you have to be, you're in your own world basically, and you have to let people in. People will knock on your door and you have to let them in, and it's only you who can let them in. And at times you're so selfish, you can't let them in. And that's why I think some relationships go pear-shaped because you're not letting people into your own world. And I've got 3 lovely children and a lovely wife, and hello, I've got to let them in, mate. Yeah, totally. So I've got to let them in, or I'll be messed up. Need time. I need time. So for example, today, which was a rarity, my wife and I, we took a drive down to the shopping mall. We had coffee together because I knew I didn't have a gig. Because what happens is once I have a gig, like last night I had a gig, and it's like you have a gig and it's a good gig, you can't fucking sleep, man. Or you don't have time to sleep. You get back at 4. Yeah. That's it. And it's like, when am I going to sleep? And then she wakes me up and says, we've got to do some shopping, I've got to go there. And I said, baby, I'm so tired. I went to the gig and I came back at 2 o'clock. It's not fair on the family. So my greatest challenge is not my comedy career now, because I think that's I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
It's just finding that balance between family and the comedy.
Of course.
Because it's really eating me up. I think about it 24/7.
Yeah, get obsessed.
Yeah.
This is an obsession anyway. I mean, if you have that insight in you, you're gonna. It's kinetic. It constantly feeds yourself with momentum.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about there is before was like how you meet your friends. You meet your friends, and they're older, and you're older too, and you have this thing in your life that feeds you and it's sort of like a elixir of life, really, because you meet them and they're all talking about, geez, what kind of coffin am I going to have? Have I got the life insurance? Have I got
exactly.
That? And this is people say that comedy makes you depressed. This is the thing that's given me the most joy out of my life.
Jesus.
And everyone says that it makes you depressed. Yeah, fine. It's hard. There's a lot of rejection, but hey, there's rejection everywhere in life. But this is just rejection on a massive scale. But you have to face the adversity.
And I hear people talk about, I mean, this is because this is stuff that I think they probably picked up or they thought. And you hear people talk about the fact that, some people do comedy because they're seeking approval from strangers. Hell no, I'm not seeking approval from strangers. I thoroughly enjoy what I do. The challenge is I want to make people laugh that I've never met before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I want them to hear my brand of comedy, and I want them to listen to some important things happening politically, socially. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not about it. I'm not seeking anyone's attention, but I believe I'm not, and that's what I think needs to happen with comedy. You break down those barriers and those rules that you've got to do comedy in a certain way, or this is why people do comedy. Hell no.
Right. Now, but wait. Yeah. Now, you said that Ben, right? You said that Ben is really shy. Yeah. Now, Mr. President, you said that Ben is really shy. And President Obonjo has made Ben a hell of a lot more confident. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel the same way about my comedy. At the beginning, I wanted laughs. I needed the laughs. And you thought that when they didn't laugh, that they were right. Now that you've gone through it and you're getting success with your character and saying, there's gigs and I'm doing well and I know that I'm right now. I know that I'm locked on, so what I do is right. And no matter what they say, it's okay. I know that I'll have enough self-awareness to be, okay, that wasn't totally right, but I know that I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
But, so therefore, you and I have topped up the confidence in our minds to go, no, it's okay now, I trust myself, I don't have self-doubt. No, I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's it, you reach a certain stage, isn't it? It's a growth, an evolution of yourself.
Yeah, because when I was talking about Ben, in terms of how Obonjo has changed Ben, so Ben was very, like I said, shy, but he's pretty confident now, very confident man. The only difference is that obviously because he's not wearing the uniform, he can't act like Obonjo. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that would be too, in terms of everyday life.
Yeah, because it's too much. Too full on.
You're full on. And I think that's the greatest challenge for me now is it's important to separate the two. Okay? But at the moment, I think what's now happening is Ben is fighting for attention. Ben wants to be on stage because he believes he created the character.
Yeah. He's not shy anymore.
He's not shy anymore. So he reckons he can do what Obonjo does.
Yeah, I fit these clothes. These are my clothes. These are my clothes. I bought all this stuff.
Yeah, I bought the stuff with my money.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the guy is bloody driving his car.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting. You said, is it obsession? Because I remember when I was bearing Obonjo on Facebook. Now, most people didn't know that my real name was Ben. And it was Facebook who asked me to change my name. And I'm not sure what that actually did to me psychologically, because for years I went on Facebook as Obonjo. So I was acting Obonjo 24/7. And I was trying to be funny 24/7. And that can't be right.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting and can't be right. So I think Facebook actually saved me in terms of actually being my real self and basically saying, yes, you can fucking take a break because nobody's expecting Obonjo to talk during the day.
Yeah.
He talks at night.
And how does Mrs. Bello feel about it? About how the development of Ben how Ben has changed, that stuff.
Up until last year, before the Edinburgh show success, she believed that I was going through some midlife crisis.
Okay.
But was happy that it wasn't a case of, I needed
fast cars
and a young
women.
girl. Yeah, it was more about comedy. And her main concern at the time was the fact that this comedy is taking a lot of your time. You don't get home, we don't get to see you. You're not getting any younger. What about your health and all that stuff? Going to bed early, eating late, and all that gets hard. However, I've noticed a steep change ever since I came back from Edinburgh last year and got the 5 stars. She was obviously the first person I wrote to say, "Baby, I did it." It was like that Rocky film. "Oh, baby, I did it."
Yeah,
I did it. And she couldn't believe it because she just couldn't believe that had happened. And she keeps reminding me every time we talk about comedy, and when I talk about, not that I compare myself to other comedians, I just talk about, okay, what's next for me? Because, you should have a strategic plan, So, and then we have discussions about, what my plans are for the future. And then she reminds me and says, "Look at you. Look at how you're talking now. Look at where you were a couple of years ago." And how you were dying on your ass. Now, because you got 5 stars, now you're losing there, you should be here. But you know what I'm saying? So she,
just keep touching those 5 stars.
Yeah, that's good. So she keeps, keeps me grounded.
That's good.
And reminds me of my success. And it's really interesting that you've got someone else who can see what you don't see. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because for me, because I started pretty late in comedy, I'm cautious of the time. I'm cautious. I'm not in a hurry, but I'm cautious of the fact that in terms of the timing and in terms of my age. However, what's really interesting is there's no rule. You've got the likes of, I met Lynn Ruth Miller, who is I think she's a Jewish comedian.
Yeah, I've seen her.
Yeah,
very good.
Very good. Age 70. She started at the age of 70, and she's 82 or something like that. Look, that is inspiring, and like it or don't like it, there's ageism in the comedy industry. It's a reflection of the industry elsewhere in every society, and that's what we need to deal with. But when you have people like Lynn Ruth Miller and all the older comics competing with younger comics and actually saying, "Hello, we're here and we've got something to say," it's fantastic. And I actually think, my view is, I think you should start comedy. I think you should start comedy pretty late in your career, rather than pretty late in your lifetime, rather than when you're 18 or 19 or 20. And no disrespect to those who are 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds and have been signed up. Good luck and keep up with the career. But I think I wouldn't want to change where I am now, because I think my age gives me the maturity. It gives me that difference, that edge. I've got a lot to talk about over the years, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have to form things. These are real things. And
life experience. And not to really think too much about how to think about that. I don't like it.
I've never done this before. What is it? There's so many things I haven't even spoken about on stage. About the number of girlfriends I've had before I got married. I didn't even talk about those things. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things I haven't, because I focus more on the Obonjo things. And that's why I'm doing lots of Ben now, because eventually Obonjo, and people keep saying, "Oh, are you going to kill the character?" Why would I want to kill something that is successful? You know what I'm saying? But I honestly believe that comedy should allow creativity, and you should continue to be creative. We spoke about how at times before we can be very bored with our sets.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and the fact that you
go to watch a night. You go to watch a night like, it's like bingo. That's what it's like. It's like bingo, watching the same thing.
In the early days of my comedy career, there were certain things I used to say, and I just, because I wasn't confident enough to change the material at the time, I say it and I fucking hate myself. I say, why did I say that? I don't like that joke anymore. But it's just too easy. I want something totally different, something that challenges their minds. I'm better than that. One of the changes that I made, there was someone recently who saw my comedy store gong. He now lives in Hong Kong. When I first started the President Obonjo character, I used to speak in a very thick African accent. It worked, but what I noticed was that it was lost in translation. So they were selling bits of places I went to in England where they didn't definitely get the jokes.
Right.
They were just laughing at the African accent.
Yeah.
Because it was very, thick.
They didn't understand the words.
They didn't understand.
I have the same problem.
Yeah. So I just said to myself, I sat down and I said, what is it I'm trying to achieve here? Because there's every likelihood that the African accent could, cover hinder the material. And I'm British. I was born in Liverpool. And so reflect that in your character. And there's nothing wrong. Yeah, you can still be African with a British accent. You know what I'm saying? And but what happens is when I'm on stage, which is what I'm doing, I sound very different. I'm not sure if you've noticed. I sound very different on stage. The African in me comes out, but you can understand it better now than previously, where it was. Because I remember one comedian who's now successful, who's playing Latitude. I don't want to mention his name.
I know.
And he came to me and he said, "Why do you always speak in an African accent?" That was many years ago. We were in this weird funny project. He saw the material and he saw what I was trying to do, and he said, "Why do you always speak in an African accent? Because you can clearly speak in another accent." And actually, who are my audience members? My audience members are British. So the whole idea is to fall back on your African accent when you need it, and comics who cleverly do it. So you switch.
Mix it up a bit.
At different levels, and that was the greatest advice, and it's worked.
This is this thing that feeds your soul, and it gives you an awful lot of joy. You're just trying to separate and make. You're just trying to separate now and give a bit more time to the family.
Most definitely.
Do your kids? What do your kids think of your comedy?
My son, who you met, Joshua, he thinks he's funnier than me.
Of course.
But what was really interesting was Joshua didn't find me funny until I did, for the show President Obonjo Stole My Identity, I did a few previews in London, and Ujambi Migrat, who has what's it called, a night. So she gave me 10 minutes to come and try President Obonjo and Benjamin. It was only for 10 minutes. I was experimenting. And what I did was I had a photograph of President Obonjo. I'm not sure if you were there that night. I don't know. I can't remember. But I had a photograph of President Obonjo, and comics didn't know what I was going to do. And I said, "My name is Ben, blah, 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 blah. I'm fed up. Well, there's this guy who's stolen my life and stolen my identity." And I brought a photograph of President Obonjo. And the whole room just went mad. And I was just experimenting. So I recorded it. And one night I showed my son Joshua, and he was in hysterics.
Right.
He was laughing. That's when I knew I got him. That's when I knew that this show was going to work, because I just thought, yes. And then when my wife saw it as well, she just started laughing. Look, this is crazy. Because how can you have one person talking about the other person, but the same person?
Yeah.
So, and I walked in it. Yeah. So, my daughter. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how she thinks.
Is she at that difficult age though?
Yeah, she's not difficult age, but yeah.
Well, how old is she then?
She's 18.
Okay, right. So she's too busy with herself at the moment.
Yeah. And then I have my son who's 22, who's just finished university. What was really interesting was Father's Day. He obviously sent me a card, and he follows me on Facebook, and I think he understands my pain and joy. He knows when I come home late and so on and so forth, and how tired it can be. And he wrote and said on the card, "Dad, I think your comedy is getting better. It's time for you to go full time."
Because that's support, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's support, which is good support. But I wasn't expecting him to write that, because that I was happy, but at the same time I felt, oh my God, I'm under pressure now. Make it to TV or whatever.
I know. I know the feeling.
It was a big failure.
I know the feeling.
But however, so my wife saw the card and saw what was written, and she started screaming, and she said, Henry, did you actually write this? Did you write this? You are giving your father ideas? You are going to go hungry? They don't pay them well?
That's it.
You go full time.
Yeah.
Damn. Then the pressure starts.
That's it. Because maybe your wife was thinking, you wrote this in the card, so you were hinting at just quitting the job.
Yeah. But also,
that's great.
Because like I said previously, she thought I was suffering from midlife crisis. She might think that's come again, and he thinks he's going to do this full time. How are we going to pay our mortgage?
Of course, it's a worrying.
Yeah, it's a worrying time. But actually, I wouldn't unless something big comes up. There's no way. I'm going to give up my job because my view is that walking during the day keeps me sane. Gives me that balance. And yes, when I'm at work, especially at lunchtime, I think about comedy. And, I write jokes at lunchtime. I apply for gigs at lunchtime. But I always look forward to going back to work. And
it's warm at work as well. You can use their heating.
You can use their heating.
they got tea there.
And a computer. But actually, I didn't particularly enjoy that period that I was off work for 9 months. I didn't particularly enjoy being on my own at home. I'm the sort of person who, I like my own company, but when it comes to comedy, I like to try to be around people.
Gets you out of the house, and you can experience comedy and how people are interacting with you, and what people are thinking, what's the status quo, what's going on outside.
Yeah, when I go out, it's just, and the amount of material that I pick up. At one point, I think, is there something? Am I normal? Because on the train I see stuff, and I write about the stuff on Facebook. I say on my way from work, this happened, blah 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 blah, and they're really interesting and funny stories that you can say on stage, but it's not like you've written them as material. They're just stuff that just happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, for example, on a Monday morning, I can just notice that people are just so miserable on the train, and we were all packed up on the train. I just said, I'm going to fuck up with these guys. That I'm very happy, so I get my iPad and I do a selfie in the morning. And I'm smiling on the Monday morning and a selfie in front of all these miserable people. Totally. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know what I'm saying?
Laughter Republic.
Laughter Republic. And that when you were talking about Obonjo, the Obonjo comes... The Obonjo is the funny side of Ben, if that makes sense, yeah? The milder side. So
where do you think you're going to take this character next? What's going to happen?
Well, most definitely I... want to have my own TV series, and it's important either with support from the industry or creating my own thing. I think it's time to start shooting videos and video clips and just do stuff that I think people will increase the popularity of the character. So that is the next challenge. I also want to get myself into some big clubs. I finally got myself into the Glee Club. So it's a paid spot. That's on the 30th of September. And
which one?
In Birmingham. I'm intending to target, because what I've done is I wanted to get better as a comic rather than try and get into these bigger clubs. Because now that I know what I'm doing and I have a reputation for knowing what I'm doing, I'm now approaching those big clubs. I also would like to continue to do festivals. I did Brighton Fringe, I did Hastings this year. I am doing the Citadel Festival, which is tomorrow. But I honestly believe that the act, I did Milton Keynes Comedy Festival 2-3 weeks ago, and it was fantastic. I want to do more festivals. My challenge next year is to make sure, or my goal next year is to make sure that I do all the comedy festivals that you go in the United Kingdom. Glasgow Comedy Festival. There are quite a few that I missed this year that I'm going to do. And I also have to recognise that there are some festivals that I won't be able to play because you have to have big agents.
Right.
But hopefully focusing on getting myself an agent.
That's the next mission.
That's the next mission. And just really having, I think for me in terms of an agent, because people say I'm very good at marketing myself. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say to you as well. You have quite a large Twitter following.
Yeah.
How many Twitter followers do you have?
About 3,000.
Oh, it's coming up, isn't it?
And
that's what you're just trying to do. You're trying to garner all this popularity and then go to the agent and go, look, I've got this. These people are following me. They're interested. I've got the YouTube stuff there down. I've got all this. So what do you want from me?
So I've got some YouTube, but they're very, very old YouTube, and I'm not very happy with.
Right.
Do some character sketches. I was just playing around at the time with the camera, so I need to get those down and have my own proper YouTube channel with title Laughter Republic and TV, and just trying out stuff, and that's where it is. And if TV work comes along the way, I want to do adverts. Also, what I want to do is I want to go and see shows as well, but I want to see shows of comedians who are up there. that I can learn from. I think, as you know, you can be gigging and writing material and not have time to go and see other shows. But I think I can learn a few things from those, especially good character comedians. The war plan is to lead a comedy revolution.
The new tactics.
That's new tactics.
Revolution.
Yeah, and to continue to build an audience.
Yeah.
And to do my own shows. So there's nothing stopping me from actually, and I did it. I did Brighton Fringe, and I did a venue that wasn't part of the comedy industry recognition. So it wasn't Laughing Horse. It was just a pub, good functioning room. Registered it, and people came. I sold 60 tickets.
Wow!
So it's possible. It's very possible to do your own thing. My view is that just continue to build the audience and continue to get better and see what happens.
Do it yourself. And
It's a DIY, and that is exactly what I've done over the years. I haven't sat down waiting for an agent to show me the ropes or a comedy promoter to show me the ropes. I've just basically believed in my product, and I've just believed in my act, and I've just said, I'm going to get better at this, and I'm going to do it, and people are going to embrace it. And that's...
I'm going to dictate to them, they're not going to dictate to me.
No, they're not dictating to me.
I am right.
I am,
I'm the dictator. I am President Obonjo.
And what's really interesting is, because at one point, I have to say to you, last year or 2 years ago, I was thinking, not necessarily kill the character, I was just thinking along the lines, how relevant would the character be? However, the recent political events confirmed to me, and I knew this, that I'm about to go onto a show, and that's why I want to do TV, because I am about to go and do a set, and then stuff changes. There's a change somewhere. So the Cameron government, I talk about the Cameron government in my set. I've had to change that now, turn it to the May government. But that's how current my set is, because when I talk about my cabinet, my cabinet, I talk about, I had a dream, I got fed up with the Cameron government. Now, that's now the May government. You know what I'm saying?
It's evolving, you're right.
Anyway, so it's an evolving act. So why would I want to kill an act like that? It's everlasting. The only thing that will stop me from doing the act any longer is if I'm dead. That's basically
it.
Exactly.
And that's what we were saying before about how it's helping, how it helps Ben, how the comedy helps whoever does it really, and it tops you up, and it gives you that joy, and it takes your mind off the imminent end for all of us. But hey, look, we're enjoying now doing the thing that we love, and that's the most important thing, isn't it? So, Mr. President, where is your next gig? Where can we see you?
Well, this is being recorded now, but it might come up in September. I think by the time this podcast comes on, they can come to the Glee Club in Birmingham. On Thursday, 30th of September, I will be there, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the character thrives in playing big crowds. It's just, I feel elevated. I feel like I've smoked weed when I'm on stage and I see that many people, even though I've never tried weed. I'm just elevated. I just think, yes, I am a real president. I feel like I'm in a town hall meeting and I'm trying to tell these people to vote for me. That's how I feel. And I feel very disappointed at times. I know you have to play small crowds when I go, and it's just, it just didn't do the character any justice. And we've done small crowds as well, but we've enjoyed it. But I have to tell you, my friend, playing to 300 people, playing to 400 people in a room, and asking them all to get up and to swear their allegiance to you, and they're looking at comedy that they've never seen before. It's
Well, Mr. President, well, I hope that the Glee goes well on the 30th of September in the Glee Club in Birmingham. I wish you all the best.
It's going to be annexed. Birmingham is going to be annexed. Glee Club will become Black Republic Comedy Club.
The next coup is in Birmingham.
That's Glee Club. And actually, just to plug, I've written a new show called The Rise of the Comedy Dictator. It went to Brighton and it went to Hastings. My plan is to take it to Edinburgh next year, 2017. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to perfect it. So, whilst I will still be doing gigs in the circuit, I'll be focusing more on doing this show across many venues and selling tickets and just people coming to have a look. And so that's the plan. It's going to be an hour show, and I will perfect it for Edinburgh next year. So I wasn't rushing to take it to Edinburgh this year, but it's almost ready.
So you've got Rise of the Dictator,
Rise of the Comedy Dictator,
Rise of the Comedy Dictator coming up for our show, and the Glee Club in Birmingham to come see your stuff.
And then I will set up a YouTube channel. And
what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is called President Obonjo or Obonjo Comedy. Not Obama. Please don't follow Obama. Like some Americans tried to follow me and say that I should be killed. I was a Muslim terrorist. Seriously,
right?
I'm telling you, because I thought I was Obama, and that's it really. And I because the character was created as a result of Obama coming to the scene 8 years ago, and I thought, with Obama leaving the office, that's the end of the character. Actually, it's totally different.
Politics changes.
Politics.
They've given you a new lease of life.
I'm telling you.
Thank you, Brexit.
Brexit, whatever, talking. I just keep saying Boris Johnson, foreign minister. Someone was asking me the other day whether Laughter Republic will want to meet Boris Johnson. He will have to apologise to the president because he's made some really stupid remarks about black people before I get to meet him. But I think that's what's worrying for comedians to do political comedy, because politicians are getting really better at doing comedy. Unknowingly. So Boris Johnson
satiring themselves.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And Andrea Leadsom basically saying that she mentioned stuff about men should not something to do with children, pedophilia and all that stuff. They have some very warped views. Even Theresa May, she looks like that what's the name of that series? They do caricatures of the politicians.
Spitting Image.
Yeah, she just looks like a spitting image of herself.
I say look forward to the rise of the Comedy Dictator and the 30th of September at the Glee Club. Man, I say thanks for coming on the show, Mr. President, and we'll have you on again. I also want to find out how it's going for you.
It's going, and if you don't see me, but I'm sure you will see me. But can I also thank you so much for this? This has been great, and it's been good just to talk and not have to talk on stage. And I look forward, and I wish you well, because there are lots of podcasts across the United Kingdom. But
there's only one dictator, though.
There's only one dictator, and there's only one podcast, and this is the one that is approved by the president. All the other podcasts are no podcasts. They're shortcasts until they have. So you're privileged.
We have the presidential stamp of approval.
Yeah. So maybe you can get my driver to bring the car, and
he'll bring the car around now,
and we can fuck off.
We've got this security.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming on.
And that was episode 13 with President Obonjo. Now you can go and see him live at the Glee Club in Birmingham on the 30th of September, and you'll know exactly how powerful he is. If you haven't seen him before, he's great. It's a show. Now, next week we have Tom Mayhew. Now, Tom Mayhew has won the King Gong. He's a very self-effacing, very self-deprecating performer. He's great. He's just not what you would think would succeed at a bear pit of a gong show, but he's turned that show on its head by being the opposite of what you think you should be. Rather than being aggressive and high energy, he's very low energy, and that is for episode 14. If you like the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at The Comedy Defect. If you want to follow me, it's at WinterPhonander. If you want to donate to the podcast, you can, and you can go to Patreon, type in The Comedy Defect Podcast. We're there. Donate as much or as little as you want. But if you can't kick something back to us, just leave us a nice review on iTunes or Podbean, or share your favourite episode, because it helps. If you want to come see my live gig dates, they're on my website, which is winterphonander.com. But that is it from us for now on the Comedy Defect podcast. We'll see you next week for episode 14 with Tom Mayhew.